My name is Barb McQuaid. This semester I'll be teaching criminal law and a course in the problem-solving initiative about data privacy. Criminal law to me is one of the most exciting courses that a first-year law student can take. We look at some of the most urgent issues in society now, policing, sentencing, mandatory minimums, all of those issues. We talk about what's happening now, but we also go back to the historic origins of the criminal law to understand how it has evolved, so students both understand what the criminal law is and what it could be. The Problem Solving Initiative is a great program where law students can work with students from all the other graduate schools at the university. We have top schools in information science and business and public policy and medicine. Students come together to work on a particular problem. My course is in data privacy, but we've also had courses in autonomous vehicles and poverty and hunger and homelessness. And it really replicates the real world where people get together and look at messy problems and try to put some order around it. The course teaches problem-solving skills and also teaches students to research and find solutions to those problems. We have a handful of professors from practice here at the law school, and the idea is to kind of complement or supplement the great research scholars that we also have on our faculty. We bring some real-world experience. We've been out practicing for the bulk of our careers. I was a federal prosecutor and the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan, so I've brought cases against police officers for police misconduct. I've brought cases for violent crime and public corruption and national security offenses, and so some of those lessons learned can be shared with the students, and it's a nice blend, I think, of an academic side with also a practical side. I think one of the most important things we're doing in the law school is teaching students how to think. There is a little bit of substance that you learn in law school, but a very big part of what you learn in law school is process. And so thinking about how to tackle problems, how to frame issues, how to break laws down into their elements, how to think about constitutional text, how to read a statute. And so these kinds of procedural process skills are the kinds of things that will enable students to go on and practice law, even as the substance of the law may change and the problems may change. Those kinds of skills. And so it's important that students come in, I think, with some humility and understanding that this may be very different from what they've learned before, but also that we're all in this together and that we may stumble along, but when we take those kinds of risks to learn, that's how we grow. Well, on the first day of class, I feel a little bit nervous too, and that's something that I never appreciated as a student, thinking that maybe the professor was nervous. But it's mostly a nervousness of excitement. It's very exciting to be there on the first day of law school. I love the chance to be with students. I mean, the reason I teach is because I want to have a positive impact on students. And so students are eager, they're enthusiastic, they're bright. I really enjoy spending time with them because I find that that energy is contagious. So it's natural for everybody to feel a little bit nervous. I think that one of the things many law students feel is a little bit of that imposter syndrome, that, wow, everybody here is so smart, how did I get here among all of these others? But just to keep in mind, everybody kind of feels that, and if you're here, you belong here, and you're going to find your way. And again, you know, taking risks can sometimes be uncomfortable, but that's where the real growth comes in. The thing I love most about teaching is working with students. There is occasionally that aha moment where a student is in class or is in my office at office hours, where they're talking something through and then you can see it click. It's almost as if the gears are going around in their brains as they're talking something through. I love that moment when the student discovers for themselves what it is we've been trying to talk about. That's a real positive and a real excitement. I also love connecting students with job opportunities, clerkship opportunities. You know, having been a professor from practice, I know a lot of people who are lawyers and judges, and so being a bridge between students and career opportunities also gives me a lot of joy. Well, I guess there's a couple things I would suggest. I mean, obviously they need to apply themselves and work hard to try to make the most of the learning opportunity. But there are a couple resources that they really ought to take advantage of. One is the faculty. I love interacting with students. I love writing students letters of recommendation. I love helping to connect students with clerkships or job opportunities. And I think that is something that some students are reluctant to do, whether because they don't like to ask for favors or they're intimidated or whatever it is. It's why I'm here and I love to do it. I feel like that's a resource I didn't take enough advantage of when I was a student. So utilize your professors for all those things. The second is to enjoy each other. Your fellow students are such an incredible resource. They're all these really smart people who have come here from all different kinds of backgrounds and who will go on to do all kinds of interesting things. I am still in touch with many of my classmates from Michigan Law School. In terms of the friendships and the insights that you can gain from your classmates, that's a real resource that people ought to tap.